Happy Saturday, everybody. I'm going to continue to put out videos that are going to save your season. This video is absolutely no exception. I'm talking about 4 massive name players you need to avoid for fantasy football 2025, meaning stay away, meaning do not draft, meaning no matter what happens when you're in the draft room or whatever your friends say or whatever your sheep league mates say, do not draft these 4 players, okay? Very important video. I'm going to tell you who they are. Again, they're massive names. We're talking first round type draft capital here, especially the last one. The last one, just forget about it. You are basically throwing away your entire season if you draft this player in the first round. I'm going to explain why. Okay, so the last one, you got to stay away, but do not draft these players. I implore you, do not draft. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up. Do not be left in the dust. Grab 16-round draft solution. I'm telling you, once you grab 16 rounds, you'll know who all the sleepers are, who the breakouts are. You're going to be light years. When I say that, I don't say that just to say it because it's a cool phrase. You will be light years ahead of the consensus, aka the consensus. Just with this course, you are light years ahead of not only the people in your league, but also ahead of everybody in the industry, ahead of all the fantasy experts. So grab the 16-round draft solution. You will be light years ahead of everybody. Grab it below. I've linked it below. Or head on over to thefantasyfootballcounselor.com. And I want to get this thing up to a lot of likes, 1,000 likes. Let's get this video up. Smash it, tap it, hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel. And drop a comment below. Let's make it interactive. I love making it interactive. Where are you from? I want to get to know you a little bit more. How long have you been playing fantasy football? And of course, who is a player you are avoiding like the plague? Who is it you are absolutely staying away from and why? Let's make it interactive in the comments, okay? Out here enjoying the outdoor elements in the backyard. I know the lawn needs some work. I tried to treat it. I'm not a lawn guy, but I did try this year. It was a good effort. We're going to have to wait till next year. Got this like windscreen out here, this tent, this mini tent here above me to keep the insects out because, you know, as I do these videos with you, it's harsh environments. I get bugs on me, I get flies, I get lots of stuff. So I want to keep it a little more closed in and protected as I'm delivering content on a high level. So again, hit the thumbs up. Let's get to these 4 players, all right? There isn't much in the news, though. I do want to talk about a lot of training camp stuff. I have my finger on the pulse. So if you guys want training camp stuff, you want up-to-date information, I am delivering stuff in my story mode at Fantasy Football Counselor on Insta. So go to my Insta, I've linked it below, or at Fantasy Football Counselor on Insta. Turn on the bell to all my notifications. I am delivering to you guys news in there as well. There's little minor news here and there, like Terrence Ferguson made some great catches, or Elijah Arroyo's emerging in camp, or Pat Bryant is catching balls properly and looking good. Like there's notes like that you may want to get that give you little golden nuggets to help you guys win your leagues. Okay, so go ahead and follow my socials as well and turn on the bell for the news. All right. So the first player right here, let's dive into it, is Devin Achane, RB4 in PPR. Right now. Okay, let's talk about this, all right? When I look at a top running back, all right, they've got to have a major criteria. They got to be able to run, then they got to be able to catch. So a guy like Alvin Kamara was never on my teams and will never be on my teams because the guy's not rushed for 1,000 yards his entire career. So it's very important and it's imperative that you guys understand this concept that you want a true workhorse running back. In order to do that, now we're getting into fantasy football draft strategy, you have to invest early draft capital in running backs because those running backs that are going to be the workhorses don't come in mid to late rounds. It's very rare. This year, I'm going to give you a gem in the mid rounds. Well, not even mid rounds, but around the 5th round in the 16-round draft solution. But typically, you're not going to get those running backs that are going to deliver both rushing yards, massive rushing yards, and massive receptions. You don't get those in the later rounds. And now when you look at Devin Achane coming off late round 1, give or take, he's a top 5 running back, so he's very expensive. Coming off ahead of guys like Derrick Henry, who could have a fall off here. Guys like Ashton Genty, ahead of Ashton Genty, that's ludicrous. The talent isn't even comparable. It's going to be, when you look back on it for next year, be like, oh my God, I can't believe Achane was coming off ahead of guys like Genty. It's ludicrous. Now, why don't I like this guy? Well, first of all, I don't trust this guy. He had one good year. He played the full season last year, but only 11 games his rookie year. And this guy had the year of his life last year with Tyreek Hill pretty much not performing to where he should be, banged up, just not doing his thing, right? The offense just was not grooving at all in Miami. Jalen Wright has put on some weight, so he's got a little bit of running back competition. But listen, only 203 attempts. That's it. The guy's 190 pounds soaking wet. All right. Probably after having a full meal of pasta or something like that. Maybe he went out for dinner, had a steak or something like that. He's full, belly full, had a bunch of food, a bunch of wine, drinking, whatever he does. And then soaking wet. He's 190 pounds, 5'9". It's not a true workhorse running back. He had 6 touchdowns last year, 203 attempts, didn't even crack 1,000 yards. And listen, I'm just not against his upside and his speed and all that, but I don't see him as a workhorse, and definitely should not be as top 5. And this is a simple copy and paste type situation. They're just, it's ludicrous. Just I definitely see some explosive upside, but I just don't see the volume. Okay, at chain I'm out on. Okay, number 2. Again, stay to the end because that last guy, I can't wait to dive into that one. But number 2 here is James Cook. Let me give you guys some interesting facts about James Cook. All right, finished 8th last year. Now he's like RB16. He's obviously discounted a little bit. I think the mainstream sheep are factoring in a regression because it's very unlikely he's going to have 16 touchdowns again. Okay, just hear me out here, right? Now you're thinking, well, okay, if he doesn't do well in touchdowns, he had the 16. Because remember, he had 2 touchdowns the year before and 2 touchdowns the year before. He had 4 touchdowns rushing combined the past 2 years. Now, and then he had like 18 touchdowns last year. Like, it's crazy. He's not going to get that. There's no way near that, right? It's just like Josh Allen just wasn't throwing as much as he should have to his receivers. His receivers were in the groove. Keon Coleman, who's now currently kind of struggling with separation, didn't step up last year. Hopefully steps up this year. But regardless, I think they're going to throw more, okay? But listen to this. So you're like, okay, well, he's not going to do well on touchdowns. Well, he's a PPR guy. He's not. He's not a PPR running back. He was 33rd in receptions last year, 34 in targets. He only had 38 targets last year, 32 receptions, give or take. He's in the 30s amongst running backs in PPR in targets and receptions, so he's not a receiving back type running back. Even though with that pinnacle year, he only peaked at 207 rushing attempts. Listen, this is not a true workhorse running back. This is not a good player. And this is the reason why they're not paying him. This guy wants big money. He wants Saquon-type money, but he only had one decent year. And it was heavily predicated on the touchdowns, which were given to him because it was just by default. That's how the offense decided to run their schemes. It had nothing to do with his talent. He was a product of the offense, and he benefited significantly in the touchdown category. So listen, I'm staying away from James Cook. He's not a true workhorse running back. He's not that good. If he was that good, he would have signed a Saquon Barkley type deal, but he didn't. So James Cook, do not draft. Do not draft. Again, if you want all the picks, you want to know exactly who to draft, grab the 16 round drafts, which I linked it below, right? I got 2 big name wide receivers here for you. I did do a bust episode, so if you listen to my stuff, you may have heard these guys. One guy I keep talking about, the other guy, not as much, but I'm going to talk about it. You're going to know who he is here right now, the last guy. But number 3 here, do not draft, players to avoid. Here's a wide receiver. I've talked about him. Hear me out on why you got to avoid this guy. The guy I'm talking about is Ladd McConkey. Now, hold on a second, Joe. You told me Ladd McConkey last year. He's got to be on all my rosters. Remember, you told me, don't be a donkey, draft Ladd McConkey. That was your saying. While everybody was sleeping on Ladd McConkey, Joe, you told me last year that that's your guy, Ladd McConkey. He was my guy. But listen, you got to skate to where the puck's going to be, not where the puck currently is. And I knew the puck was going to be here. That's why I skated to it last year. So, Ladd McConkey, man, 112 targets, 23rd in targets. You're drafting a guy in the 2nd round who was 23rd in targets. Just back up for a second. Let's just take a look at that. Hold on a second. That was off a pinnacle year with no Trey Harris, no rookie Orlando Gaddiston, or whatever his name is, right? He could catch the ball too. They weren't there. Quentin Johnson seems to be improving. He sucked last year. They added Omarion Hampton, who's a huge addition, more checkdowns. I'm telling you, man, they added Najee Harris. They actually have a running game this year. They had no running back last year. So then I look at it, and I'm like, hey, man, this is an entirely new situation. 112 targets with nobody else there. And I was getting him in round 7 to 9, typically round 7 because I wanted to secure him, maybe round 8 in some drafts. And that was a value. And I saw the upside, and there was nobody else there. Now you're telling me, I know this, but nobody else is telling you this, that Trey Harris is a true X receiver, and I don't know if you guys saw the video. Again, that's why you got to follow my Insta Fantasy Football account, so turn on the bell there. I am putting on some awesome videos. I am breaking news there in the story mode. You got to go turn that on. Go to my Insta right now and turn on the bells, okay? So now you're telling me with a video like Trey Harris creating amazing separation between his defenders. I just posted that video. That's why you got to follow. I'm looking at Trey Harris, man. Even before that video, I was like, dude, this guy is amazing. When I saw the video of like how he's leaving the defender in the dust, he's like 10 yards away, catching the ball. It was like, dude, this is a true X receiver. He's going to get fed. He's going to be on the field a lot. He's going to be the top wide receiver 1. And I can get Trey Harris after round 8, round 9. And you're telling me I got to draft Ladd McConkey round 2, who I know is going to be a regression? Not doing it, man. I liked him last year. He was in 16 rounds as a value. This year, I am fading him. Yet everybody's telling you Ladd McConkey round 2. This is going to be a huge mistake. And even if it isn't, like, we got him last year. We rode the train while it was hot. It was good. Now we're moving on. And we're getting a better pick in round 2. If you want to know who that pick is, grab the 16-round draft, which I have linked it below, right? So Ladd McConkey sitting as finished as wide receiver 11 last year. And he's pretty much there. He's like wide receiver 12. And he's coming off round 2. Okay, it's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. The fact that he's coming off round 2, it's ludicrous. It blows my mind. You should be going running back anyway in the early rounds. Okay, and number 4. Now I want you to hear me out here. I want you to listen to the whole thing. Number 4 is Puka Nacua. I'll tell you why you got to stay away from this guy. First of all, he only played 11 games last year. Only had 3 touchdowns. Understand, Stafford is not throwing for a lot of touchdowns. He only threw 20 last year. It's been years since he's thrown 40-plus touchdowns. He's on the tail end of his career. Mind you, he's still a throwing type quarterback, which is good. He was, 12th in passing attempts? Could be better. But he's not going to be able to feed both and him and Adams consistently both at their ADPs. Like, you got Puka coming off late round 1, mid to late round 1, which is ludicrous. I don't even know what he's doing there. He's not even the alpha. He's not even the 1. I'll tell you why in a second. And then you got Adams coming off round 3, who's a touchdown monster, who's never taken a back seat to anybody. So you're telling me that Puka Nacua, round 1, is worth your time and worth your value? That is ludicrous. Guys, don't do it. I just saw a video. I don't even know where the video is. I just saw it on social media. It was posted. I'll have to post it up somewhere on my story or something like that. But it was like Puka saying, like, basically, I'm not going to quote it exactly, but it's something along the line of like, yeah, Adams comes in, I'm going to let him take the wide receiver 1 spot. In other words, basically saying, I'm going to let him take first teams. I respect him. It's super cool. This guy like gets gushy and like giddy over players. Like, he was basically gushing over LeBron. They asked him, would you want to spend a week and hang out with LeBron or win the Super Bowl? He's like, I got to win the Super Bowl, but it would be so cool to hang out with LeBron. Again, I'm butchering the quote, but you guys get the idea. Something of that tone. Right? Basically like a little girl excited about, I don't know, school or something in kindergarten. It was crazy. And like, you're telling me this is the alpha with the Rams? I got to spend a first-round pick on my precious fantasy team on a guy who's basically submitting, who gave up his jersey number. Some people will say, well, it's not a big deal. Give up your jersey number. That is a huge territorial statement, if you ask me. If I was on that team and I was the wide receiver 1, I would be giving my jersey up to anybody. Nobody. I'm the one. I'm the alpha. I was here first. I got the rapport with Stafford. You take a backseat, Adams. Congrats to what you did in your career, but I'm the one here. You're the new kid in town. Welcome to my team. You're not taking my number. You're not taking my targets. But did he do that? No. He submitted. He bent down and praised the almighty Adams, who's on the tail end of his career. So that being said, man, I'm avoiding both because I don't know who the 1 is. I would assume it's going to be Adams based on basically what I just said. But with the uncertainty of it and still the high draft capital for Adams, knowing that there's not going to be enough target distribution share that this guy could feed both these guys. Remember, Stafford wasn't good years ago. He had like Golden Tate and a couple other guys on his team when he was with the Lions years ago. And those guys weren't fed on a high fantasy production. All of a sudden now, Stafford at the tail end of his career is going to produce 2 top 10 wide receivers, pretty much. That's what you're paying, top 10, 15 type value wide receivers. No, man, there's going to be other receivers that are going to emerge, guys that are being undrafted or super late that are in great positions, which I lay out in the 16-round draft solution. Do not waste your time on a guy like Puka Nacua, who had 160 targets in his rookie year and had a significant drop-off to 106 last year, and he was banged up. Okay, so we have to, if you want to pay a first round, you got to assume he's going to put up 160 target type year, which I doubt he's going to do with all these new targets. They drafted Terrace Ferguson, who's a red zone target and a receiver, right? Kyron Williams is going to get his share, right? And you got Adams, who's going to be a red zone monster. And remember, Puka only had 3 touchdowns, and Stafford only threw 20 touchdowns on the season. I just don't see either him or Adams being viable. One could emerge, but you are banking on getting Adams round 3 and a Puka injury for you to really succeed if you draft Adams. And for Adams to take a sincere backseat and say, hey, I'm the backseat guy to get that return on investment for Puka, which I don't see happening. All right? So those are my thoughts. Those are 4 players you need to avoid. I explained why, and a lot of golden nuggets in here for you. If you're not new to the channel, subscribe, thumbs up. The only channel talking common sense, because it blows my mind that this advice is being given out there without any thought. Oh, just draft Ladd McConkey round 2. Why? Because he was the #1 receiver last year. Are we not taking into account everything I just talked about? No, they're not. They're just copying and pasting. It's not how you're going to win your league to win. Grab 16 rounds. Join the Patreon group. I also do private coaching. Everything is linked below. Or head on over to thefantasyfootballcounselor.com. I appreciate you guys. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. Go enjoy your day. I'm going to enjoy mine. And draft season is in full session. So make sure you guys are prepared with this channel. All right? Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend.